Hey, what's going on? Good morning, afternoon as it is here, or wherever you are in the world. So, very shortly, I'm going to be telling you about the two big changes that happened before my first ever 20K week. Big changes, mindset and system related changes. I'll come to those very shortly. But first, I just want to share this into my group. If you'll bear with me 1 second, talk amongst yourselves, twiddle your fingers, whatever you need to do in the meantime. Share. So I'll be right with you in a second. Just when I've shared this magic source. Oh wait, if you're not in my group, Magic Source, the Magic Source for online marketing, go and join it. 4,000 people in there, well worth looking at. Okay, I've shared that now. So let's get straight into it. So there were two big changes that happened before my first ever 20K week. If you're watching live, say hello. Feel free to ask questions as we go. So two changes. Number one is system related, and number two is mindset. Now, I know if you're anything like me, when you hear mindset, you kind of go, oh, that's a bit boring. Like, I always hear people going about mindset. It's like believe in yourself and all this sort of thing. And it's a bit like, yeah, mindset, believe in yourself. But tell me the system. Tell me the thing. But this is something very specific mindset related, which I figured out, which changed everything for me. But allowed me to stick with what I was doing for a change instead of giving up. Something that I've noticed especially applies to people from the US. In my opinion anyway, I might be wrong on this, but especially I think people in the US are more likely to give up at this sort of thing. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But first is system. System is very simply, it's something that you can follow which predictably allows you to convert the numbers of people you need, number of clients that you need, to make the kind of money you want to make. Obvious, right? So if you want to make 20K, well, if you've got a $40 ebook, you're going to need to make 500 sales of that. So if you need to make 500 sales every week, that's quite a lot. But if you had, say, a $200 upsell and a certain percentage convert, well, now you might only need 200, 300, whatever. Or you might have a 5K coaching package, which you sell at a 5K coaching package, which you sell to 4 people. Which is pretty much where I was in my 20K week. Dead straightforward. I prefer to go down that route because it's a lot more simple and I can make bigger transformations when I've got more time to spend with people. But you might be different. You might be running a Shopify store and you're like, okay, how many sales? What's my average product cost? How many sales do I need to make? So first of all, figure out what is my product? How many sales do I need to make the kind of money I want? So 20K in a week is more than most of us need. Most of you are aiming at about 10K predictable month, maybe 20K a month. How many sales do you need to make that 20K or 10K? Write it down and work out, okay, this is my number. This is my minimum number that I need to make in a month. Then from there, you can build out and say, okay, next thing is, how am I going to get that? What is my system? So a lot of you are spending money on ads, which if you're a coach, you might be spending money on ads, which go to a live webinar or automated live webinar, which then get people to book a call and you sign people up. So common these days. So obviously, if you're spending money on ads, you've got to factor that in. You're going to need to make more sales because you're spending money on ads. So I decided to go the organic route and say, okay, I'm going to get all my clients organically. So what I do two things. As you've seen, I post content on Facebook, just like this. I post valuable content. I post content that proves I know what I'm talking about, that I get results. I post entertaining content as well. So people following me hopefully go, he's not the same as all those other business coaches just rabbiting on about how great he is and never delivering. He's actually capable of telling me stuff that I don't know, that I've not heard elsewhere. So over time, it builds trust. Then people at a point end up in my inbox and say, Richard, can you help me? And then they end up enrolling in my course. And when you're selling a course at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10K, well, you don't need too many of those people in your inbox to have a very, very good income. Like 1 a month and you're doing well, 2 a month and you're doing really well. 10 a month and you're really, really laughing. So that's my preferred method, but obviously think about what works for you. While you're doing this, it may be prudent for you to rethink what your offer is. What are your competitors offering? I saw a post recently where someone said, I don't believe in competition. Nobody has competition because you are uniquely you. You are unique and nobody can ever replicate that. And I'm like, I agree with the sentiment of that, but in reality, the world doesn't have time to take in all the nuances of your personality and your unique traits, does it? So when so say you're a fitness coach and you're just posting on Facebook about fitness, people are going to lump you into a category of fitness coach. They're not going to be like, oh, well, he's uniquely him, and just every fitness coach is different because they're unique individuals. They're not going to say that. They're just going to say, another fitness coach. Which one do I think is best for me? And they're going to go with the one that seems to help people who are just like them in the situation they are in right now and has proven results for those people. That is the person they're most likely to go with. Also based on price and how long it takes to make transformation and how difficult it sounds, all of these kind of factors. That's what we're going to go with. We're not going to be like, oh, but this person seems like a nicer human being or has a better sense of humor, so I'll go with them. Those things help, but not as much. So have a think about your offer. What are your competitors offering? Do you seem like the same as everyone else in your field, or are you really different? Now, this bit here is where people start talking about niching or niching if you're from the US, and people tend to think, okay, I need to niche down. So people are like, okay, I only help women, or I only help this person, or I only help that person. And I think people have got too bogged down in the whole niching thing these days. Like people are too thinking about, okay, I need to have a really tight niche. And yes, that's good in some areas, but to some people, it's actually okay to aim at everybody if you've got an offer that's completely different to everyone else and it's believable. I was having this conversation with someone on a call last week where I was saying, look, I think your target market is actually everybody, but the way you phrase your offer is this. And if you go down this route, you'll have no people, the right people who can afford you and you're going to like working with, if you start talking about it in this way, are going to pull themselves out the woodwork. Rather than aiming at like men in the fitness industry, your same thing, because you're helping people be their best self. That can apply to people in the fitness industry. It can apply to people in the dating industry. It can apply to people in a day job. It can apply to people everywhere. So if you are someone who has that kind of offer, like the be your best self kind of offer, uncover your brilliance, all that sort of stuff, it's possible to aim at everybody, but only if you present your offer in the right way, which is, by the way, that's week 1 of my program is literally what we cover there. And because I help you one-on-one with this kind of stuff, we get to pull this stuff out. You're not going through material like you do with every other program going, well, how do I apply this? So have a think about, well, how much am I going to sell my thing for? And how is it different to everybody else? And how can I present that? So you might choose to do what I'm doing, which is post organically on Facebook and let the right people come to you. I also know that if I need more clients or I feel like, oh, I've not had anyone come in my inbox this week, I can go on LinkedIn and message people, connect with the right people, and I know how to message them, and that brings in more clients. Like if I was harder working, I would easily make 20K every week. I'm just kind of lazy, and I'm happy with like 20K a month because I provide everything I need. And it's like this morning, I was away for the last 4 days in Wales on a holiday with my wife, and this morning I woke up and did some Facebook this morning, then I had my breakfast, watched some TV, fell asleep on a sofa with a cat. Then I went to the gym, came back and had my lunch, and here we are now on this live. It's a pretty good way to live compared to the old corporate days. That's how I want to do things. I'm not too bothered about making like 100 grand a month. If it comes along, then great, but I don't have to work any harder than I am right now because I like my life as it is. But these are all things you have to figure out. I think there's so many people who are telling you, this is the only way to do it. You have to run ads to a webinar, or you have to do it organic, or you have to do this or that. And I'm like, there are so many ways to get clients. There's so many ways to sell your thing. There's so many ways to actually deliver what you teach, whether it's an ebook, whether it's a video course, whether it's one-to-one training. None of those are right or wrong because everybody's different. But you've got to figure out, how can I reach the right people, enough of the right people? So we go back to what I said at the start. What's the number of people that you want to reach? In terms of your offer, if your offer's $5,000, how many new customers do you need every week to meet your goal? Okay, so if you need 4 new customers at 5K to make 20K a week, okay, how many people do you need to speak to in order to convert them? So it might be that you need to have 50 messenger conversations to convert 4 people. Okay, how am I going to have those 50 messenger conversations? Where are they going to come from? Maybe I'll go on LinkedIn and find some people. Maybe I'll connect with some people on Facebook. And if I know the right way to speak to those people, which is something else I teach, then I'll be able to connect with enough people that I need, and then I'll be able to make the money I want. So if you know that for every 50 messenger conversations, you sign up 4 people at 5K and your target is 20K, then it stands to reason that you need to connect with 50 people and have conversations with those people in order to do that? Well, if you know that you only need to connect with 50 people, that makes your task for a week really straightforward. Connect with 50 people, have those conversations, let the 4 drop out the bottom and sign up for your program. How easy is that? But if you don't know the numbers, if you don't know how many people it takes to actually convert, then you're always doing what most people are doing, which is fumbling around in the dark, just throwing content out there and hoping it sticks, making ads and hoping they stick, and never really having any idea what's going on. So have a think about, what is your system? What is different to everybody else? What can you do that's going to stand out from a crowd and make people go, I'd like to contact this person and find out more? And then how are you going to convert them? How many people do you need to speak to? So that's the first part of this. Now, specifically what I did, because I did say I was going to tell you, specifically what I did was, it was when I created my new program, the Ecosystem, which was like, what, about 4 or 5 months ago? Previously, my program was one-to-one, and it was called the 90-day challenge. So I would work with you for 90 days on your business, and there was no structure to the program. It's just, I'll sit down with you on day one and go, okay, where's your business? And I'll say, okay, here's what you need to go and do now. Go and do it. Now that sounds great. And you think that more people would convert to that than my Ecosystem program, which now costs more than the program that was twice as long did back then. You'd think that that would be more appealing because it's more time and it's one-on-one with me, but it wasn't. Because a lot of people see 90 days and they're like, 3 months one-to-one, this guy's going to be giving me loads of work to do, and do I want to commit to that? And 6 weeks, yeah, about 6 weeks is like, that's the end of next month. That's like the end of September. I quite fancy having a really nice business by the end of September. That sounds great. Oh, it's a proven system that other people have followed. Oh, I just post on Facebook and he's going to help me with my copy. And so, that sounds good. Yeah, okay, I'll sign up for that. So the actual delivery and the actual mechanism sounds so much more appealing than just, hey, I'm going to fix your business problem and good luck, and off we go. And whatever you need to do, I'll tell you what to do. Because people they don't have like a system to grab hold of there. It's just like, it sounds a bit vague, and it sounds too long. So it's kind of counterintuitive. And I see a lot of you who've got like these programs that are like 6 months long or a year long. I'm not saying it's wrong to have that, but you've got to think about, am I putting people off by having a program that's too long? Could I pack all this into like a shorter program that's 2 months, give people some sort of change that they want, and then for the bigger level change it takes longer, then get them into like an ongoing continuity program for those people who actually did the work in the first place? Because I know for a lot of you who have 6 month programs, you get people showing up for the first 3 or 4 weeks, and then they don't bother after that anyway. So it's a waste of everyone's time. So anyway, that's what I did. That was part 1. Part 2 is mindset. So mindset, as I said at the start, mindset is kind of boring. Like, I find it boring. Like, when I see people talking about mindset, I always think they're going to be like, oh, be your best self, be authentic, be authentically you, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yawn, it's not helping me sign up any more people. But this is one very specific mindset thing that really helps me, that's made a huge difference. And if you embrace this, it'll help you too. And this is a concept that failure is your friend. Expect to fail. So if we think of the example of James Dyson, who obviously invented the Dyson vacuum cleaner, he apparently went through some 5,127 iterations of his Cyclone vacuum cleaner before he got a prototype that actually worked. Now, these are the kind of stories, a bit like Edison with his like 1,000 goes on the light bulb or whatever before he got one that worked. When you hear those stories, you think, yeah, of course he stuck through it. 5,000 goes, yeah, great, good for him, because he's now on the other side and he's like worth like £3 billion or something. Obviously, it's like, yeah, of course he went through those 5,000 iterations. That's what was necessary to get it right. But back then, like, can you imagine what his wife was saying when he got to like the 500th iteration? She's going to be like, yay, James, you failed again. Or is she going to be like, do you know what? You've had 500 goes at this, James. Do you want to maybe give it up? Go back and get a job. You've given it a good go, but maybe it's time to go and try something else. So in the context of this, I was saying at the start that people from the US have a harder time embracing the concept that failure is your friend than any other people who I coach. Now, I might be totally wrong here. If you're from the US, by all means comment. If you're not, by all means comment. Let me know what you think about this. But I've noticed time and time again, when I coach people from the US, they are more likely to lose heart, not necessarily give up, but they're more likely to lose heart than the people from any other country. And I think it's because if you're from the US, you are brought up with this notion of like, US is the greatest country in the world. And you're number one, and number one is the only place you want to be, and everywhere else is like loserville territory. Now that's great. Like the sporting teams in the US tend to do pretty well. Like the US women just won the World Cup for like God knows how many times in a row. There's a reason for that, because they're brought up to be like, if you don't win, you're nothing. Whereas in the UK, we're like, yay, we made the semi-final. Go us. This is a great performance. Well done. They have like an open top bus parade when they come home for celebrating the losers. And when you're in the UK, when you grow up, if you're like, yeah, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire when you're like 15, you say that. If you're in the US, people probably go, yeah, you go. Yeah, you go. I'm right with you all the way. Yeah. In the UK, they're probably like, get back in your box. Get back in, you're getting ideas above your station here. Who do you think you are? You're just a regular guy from the north of England. Oh, did you hear that? Cats are fighting down here. Not interested in my live video, but I'd rather fight with each other. It's like, where was I now? God. Stop it, you two. Yeah, one of them's just run off. Never work, but live video. It's like never work with animals and children. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. In the UK, you brought up, and it's like, if you have the slightest idea of anything that's other than like, I'm going to be totally average, then people start slapping you down. People start being like, no, you're getting ideas above your station now. Forget about it. That's not for you. Just go and get a job, and stop being so arrogant. Stop being so big-headed. That's what people are like in the UK. Whereas in the US, you're expected to be the best. You're expected to never fail. What I notice is, part of my program, well, a big part of my program is writing Facebook posts that convert, but you don't get it right first time. And what sometimes happens is someone will write a Facebook post or post it, and nobody will respond to it. And that's fine, because that's what happens. We look at why it failed. We make the fixes for next time, just like James Dyson did with his 5,127 iterations. We make the changes for next time, and then next time you're better. And maybe you fail on something else next time. And then we fix that. And it's like a leaky bucket full of holes. Eventually, there's no more holes left to plug, and it works. But unfortunately, what I find with people from the US is that a lot of them are like, they fail the first time. And they're like, their brain just goes into meltdown. They're like, I'm not supposed to fail. There's something wrong with this. This system doesn't work, or there's something wrong with me, or I'm doing this wrong. This isn't for me. I need to go and do something else, or I can't do this, or there's something wrong with him, or I can't do that. And they want to give up, and I have to like talk them off the ledge constantly. Now, this is just my observation. I might be completely wrong, but I just know that if you're from the US, this is not to like slag off people from the US. Like, I love my friends in the US, but if this is you and you find yourself in a position where you're really easily giving up, like you have one tiny failure, or you throw up one ad and it doesn't work, or you write one Facebook post and it doesn't work, or maybe you make a product and it doesn't sell, and you want to give up, and you're like, oh, what's the point? It's probably because of the way you've been brought up. You've been brought up to expect that you should be a winner, and if you come second, then that's nowhere, and you're a loser. So as soon as you notice yourself not winning, you're going to want to give up. You're going to want to hide under like the covers and like scream for mummy, because you're going to be like, oh my God, this is wrong. I shouldn't be experiencing this. I should be winning. Instead of getting that kind of if you like, the inventor's philosophy of, I am expecting to fail. I am expecting to get this wrong. But the main thing is, how can I learn what I'm getting wrong? If I make a post and no one responds to it, what did I do wrong? What can I change? And that's where I come in with my coaching, because when you make a post and it doesn't work, I can tell you why. In fact, what happens is, generally you don't tend to make that post, because you'll put it in a Google Doc, I'll review it, and I'll say, okay, put this up instead. This is what's going to happen. You learn from my mistakes of the past. I can teach you, rather than you having to fail actually publicly. But at the same time, you still can't. The world is so complex and people are so complex. You still can't predict everything. I still make posts. You scroll through my feed. Not every one of my posts has like 50 odd comments. Sometimes I make a post and no one comments and no one likes it. I'm like, okay. And I don't like that, obviously. Obviously I want every post to go well, but I look at it and go, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I be better next time? And I'll tell you, one of the most important things for your business is to get good at copywriting. Pretty much anyone. Get good at copywriting, get good at selling. You'll be better in business all around. And I've written a Facebook post pretty much almost every day for over a year now. And I was pretty good at writing copy beforehand, but you better believe that putting posts out into the world, into Facebook, where you get that instant feedback, Even when you get no feedback, that's still feedback. No one commented. There's a reason for that. Getting that instant feedback every single day for a year. That if you're strong enough, if you've got kind of like your big boy coat on, and you're willing to take the fact that not everyone likes it, you're going to learn so much from that attitude about being willing to just get out there and fail. But after a year of doing that, you're going to be really, really good. The problem for most people is they don't stick the course. Hi, Cassie. Yeah, this is something I've been thinking about too. Is this, to ask you, Cassie, are you from the US? Is this something you've experienced, or is this more like just generally from your clients? You've noticed this with them, or is this something that like you've noticed yourself, like a tendency to want to give up too easily or get discouraged really easily? Yeah, let me know. I'm curious. It's difficult. Like, we all have egos. No, in the UK, we have egos too. We all want to be right all the time. We all want to be smart. We all want to tell a story about how we just threw at this thing and it made loads of money and we're really smart. But the reality is, for pretty much all of us, we're going to have to fail again and again and again and again and again until we start getting it right. So having a system that you can follow, like the kind of system I show you, having someone who can tell you, okay, that post you've written there is wrong. You want to do this instead. That is going to shortcut your process. So instead of taking like I've done, like taking the last year writing posts every single day and figuring out what works and what doesn't, well, I can tell you what works and what doesn't. I can tell you when you make a post that's probably not going to work. But you've still got to be strong enough from your ego's perspective to be able to take that feedback and take that. Now, when I send you your Google Doc back full of comments that basically like, this is shit, this is shit, this is shit, fix this, fix this, fix this. You've got to be strong enough to be like, instead of being like, oh God, this is awful, or want to fight back or hit back at me, instead of being like that, be like, okay, this doesn't feel good, but I'm going to take it on the chin and I'm going to fix it and I'm going to be better next time. And you only need like, say you have 10 iterations doing that, of like, say you write one post one day, then we fix it, then the next day you write another post and we fix it. I'm finding in my course that the people who do really well are the people who come back from the beatings that I give them, and they come back again next day stronger. Like Rocky, he gets punched in the face and he comes back stronger. Next day they come back stronger and they write a better post, and I beat up on them some more. And they come back the next day, and after 2 weeks of writing posts every single day, it's like they're really, really good at it. And I'm like, it gives me so much pride. I'm so happy and I'm so proud of them when we get like 2 or 3 weeks in, and I'm like, I literally have no comments on this post apart from this is brilliant. I wouldn't change a thing. I couldn't have written it better myself, because they've learned from that. Now, the clients who come in think that they're really smart and have got it all figured out and don't want to hear anything bad, well, they get a rude shock on my course, because when I give them the bad feedback, they don't like it. And sometimes they run off and don't come back. And I'm like, that's a sadness, a shame. I'm sorry you wasted your money, but I told you what it was like before you started. You've got to be tough here. So it's that mindset that failure is your friend. So Cassie has US, and I find that bringing value and going live is a faster way to get close to my audience. Basically, I have to be relevant and my posts have to bring value. Yeah, that's true, Cassie. You do have to be relevant and you have to bring value. What's your actual niche? Who are you aiming at? The thing with giving value is it's really vague. Like, people don't know what giving value means these days. And people think that giving value is posting like endless memes, or you post a picture of a faded sunset and you have like a be your best self on top of it, and they think that's giving value. That's the kind of shit that on Instagram works nicely. Yeah, a content calendar can work as well, but obviously that only works if you know what you're going to write or talk about. A lot of people sit there with a content calendar like, derp, what am I going to do now? I actually don't use a content calendar. What I find is content just comes naturally as I go about my day, and I think, oh yeah, something happens, someone talks to me, or I'm listening to an audiobook and I'm like, that's a good thing to talk about, and off I go and I'll make a post about it. I just prefer not to be that structured, but content calendars are great for some people, definitely. But going back to value again, I think that's a really interesting thing on value, because what is value? If you're posting things like, if you're like a life coach and you post things like be your best self, and it's Monday, let's wake up to a great day and hit the ground running, people. That's not value anymore, because my newsfeed is full of people posting this kind of stuff, and I just scroll past it. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, scroll past it. It's the kind of stuff where you don't disagree with it. No one's going to disagree with you saying be your best self, but at the same time, it doesn't hit the mark. No one's going, this is why the thing I've been doing isn't working. This is why I can't lose weight. This is why I'm unhappy in my relationship. Or this is why I can't find a relationship. This is why I'm not making any money. This is why I've still got spots all over my face. I don't know, whatever. It's none of it's hitting home going, right, that's the reason for my problem. Or I've never heard anyone give this advice before. So value is like, for me, value is in your niche. Can you show the people you're aiming at why the thing they're doing isn't working in a way that's not just something they've heard before, in a way they go, now it makes sense. So let's say you're a fitness coach and you can explain, here's why P90X and Insanity and Atkins diet and lettuce leaf and a glass of lemonade diets haven't worked for you in the past. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you weren't committed. It's not because those diets weren't good enough. It's because And if it might be mindset. It might be the diet wasn't specifically tailored to you. We've all got different like genome types, and you've got to have the diet that's tailored to your genome type, otherwise it's not going to work. Or it might be that the diet was these diets are so hard to stick with because the food's so boring and bland, or you need to do 7 workouts a week for 2 hours a time, and nobody's going to stick with that. They're just not sustainable. And if you get something that gets you moving in the right direction every week, and every week you're getting better, you don't move as fast as those diets, but you stick with it because it's easier. Well, after 6 months, you'll be where you want to be, instead of doing like 3 diets in that time and giving up 3 times and going back to where you were. So whatever the reason is, if you can make it believable, that this is why it hasn't worked and this is why my thing worked, now people are paying attention to you. Now people are like, right, now I get it. Okay, now I want to listen to you. Okay, you've explained why my thing isn't working. So what should I do instead? And if you can explain what they can do instead in a credible, believable way, you go, okay, that makes sense. Now you're going to get people in your inbox. Now you're going to get people like showing up being like, okay, Cassie, tell me more about how I should do my thing. You know, I still don't know what you actually do, Cassie, so I can't be more specific than that. But something to think about. Value isn't like just making inspirational posts or posting stuff that people have seen before. It has to be something they haven't seen before. It has to be like a light bulb moment above the head where they're like, right, now I get it. Or maybe it's like a really useful tip that they can go away and use today to get some sort of result. Where, let's say, another gym example, let's say a fitness trainer posts a tip that's going to like add 20K to my bench press inside the next 2 weeks if I just go and do this. And I go and follow it, and I come back and I'm like, wow, that worked. Now I'm going to be following him. Now I'm going to listen to every post he's done because he's taught me something that nobody else could. Well, anyway, yeah, I've gone a little bit off track here, so I'll go back and recap. So the 2 big changes I happened for my 20K week, to recap. System. I created a system I could follow, which was posting on my personal feed about my ecosystem program, about the things that weren't working for other coaches in the industry that I knew they were all doing. I knew they were all sending ads to webinars. I know it's not working for a lot of people. I know a lot of people are trying to post inspirational stuff on their feed. I know that's not working. Be able to post stuff about that and why that's not working, and then show why what I do works. And doing that consistently every day to bring in leads, and adding people who might be in my target market to my friend list, and doing similar on LinkedIn. That's basically my system, and I just follow it religiously, and it brings the people in. And the second was a mindset, which is failure is your friend, which is I know I'm going to stuff up sometimes. I know I'm going to have conversations with people I thought were ideal clients, and I'm going to say something stupid or mess it up, and then be like, oh, they didn't sign up. I thought I was supposed to be a business coach, and I stuffed it up. Maybe I'm going to give up. No, I'm not giving up, because I'm going to fail. I just got to make sure that next time I'm better. So whatever you're doing, how can you embrace this failure as your friend mindset? How can you expect to fail and go, okay, I failed there. This is how I'm going to be better next time. Because another thing we all try to do is we always look for our successes. We always go, see, that was a success, because we don't want to admit we failed, which keeps us stuck. So Cass says, I network for an all naturally based anti-aging hair care company. Okay, is that MLM? Sounds like it. So if you're talking MLM, how do you sign up more distributors? I worked with an MLM person this time last year. I don't generally help MLM people, but she signed up like 14 distributors in the next 2 months, purely based on writing Facebook posts and being able to convert them. It's all about, how can I write better Facebook posts that actually attract people I want? Do you just go and buy and sell groups and write these kind of Facebook posts? Still does that? No. How can I write better Facebook posts that attracts people? So I actually wrote a post for her and suddenly shot loads of leads and converted a bunch of people. How can you actually convert those people when they come to you for conversation? Taught her how to do that. You signed up 14 people inside 2 months. Not difficult really, but it's about having that system you can follow. So if your system might be, I'm going to write post in buy and sell groups, and then when people come to me, I know how to convert them. That's great. But you'll probably start from a point of then going on to number 2, mindset failure as your friend. Well, you're probably not going to be too good when you start this. Your post won't be perfect straight away. They won't get loads of leads, and the leads that do come in, you're probably going to lose them. So instead of being like, oh, this doesn't work, it's like, how can I keep on improving and improving and improving as fast as possible? So yeah, longish video, this one, 30 minutes long. I hope you got value from it. If you're watching this on replay, by all means, ask any questions you want. I will answer them later, and I hope this was useful to you. Otherwise, see you again very soon.